Hey, it's the Rican, and today I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna go through this article that was on the Federalist, and I'm gonna go into it. Uh, Most of the stuff I agree with. There's gonna be some stuff I disagree with, but yeah, let's uh, let's get to it. Here's the article. It's called 15 Reasons, 15 Insane Things in HR 1 bill, which is the first bill proposed by the House. I love what they HR 1 bill to corrupt elections forever. Hyperbolic, but it's not necessarily far from the truth. It goes here on Wednesday. The House Democrats passed an 800-page bill that would mandate insecure voting process and subject voting tallies to partisan manipulation. And here's the whole thing. I mean, I'm against all these bills that are, if you need to have 1,000 pages, almost 1,000 pages worth of bills to make a law, then there's something wrong. I mean, there's just too many things going on in a bill when you have all these things in it. So I'm just going to go through the points that they talk about. Openly breaks the Constitution. It goes here. As Attorney General note, under both the Election Clause of Article 1 of the Constitution and the Electors Clause of Article 2, states have principal and with presidential elections exclusive responsibility to safeguard the manner of holding elections. This bill, basically what it's saying is, here's the whole thing. It's unconstitutional. The bill itself, this part of the bill would be unconstitutional because the elections are supposed to be run by the states. The states have this responsibility, and basically for the federal government to go and tell the states how to run their elections, it's how they need to run their elections is unconstitutional. Yet the Constitution expressly affords the states, not Congress, the power to determine how presidential electors are selected. Mandating mail-in voting requires states to accept late ballots, overriding state voter ID laws, and mandating states conduct redistricting through unelected commissions, all violate the state's constitutional authority in conducting elections. I'm going to go back to this. Set up star chambers to intimidate judges. The bill would establish a commission to protect democratic institutions that would have the power to force judges to testify before a panel of unelected federal bureaucrats. According to the bill on page 389, the commission or any member of the subcommittee of the commission may hold hearings and sit and act at such times and places, take such testimony. This commission, the Heritage Analyst finds, would be given the authority to compel judges to testify and justify their legal decisions, threatening their independent judgment and subjecting them to political pressure and harassment. That's the whole thing, like why the Supreme Court is a lifetime appointment, so like that they don't have to worry about the politics. As opposed to some other judges, you can vote on other judges in other states and counties. Excuse me. Mandate mail-in ballots. I am totally against this. First of all, mail-in ballots. I understand we had the pandemic. There was ways to go about voting. You could have staggered voting. The one thing I think this bill establishes a federal holiday for election day, which I'm totally for. I think we shouldn't have to worry about anything other than voting on election day. And I also think at the end of the day, we should be done voting. We should know the results at the end of the day. There's no reason to have tons of mail-in ballots. Those are for people. There should be specific reasons for why you're doing a mail-in ballot. But it goes here, rather than reject the 2020 electoral chaos caused by bureaucrats suspending state election laws to further unreliable mail-in voting, suspend legal deadlines for mailed ballots, HR 1 would mandate this electoral chaos forever. If a state wants to do this, and that's fine. I just don't think this is something that should be uh, federal, because should be something that should be mandated federally. It was a mess. It was crazy. The fact that it took us a week or two to find out who won, and this whole thing of some people saying some ballots were backdated, like here in Pennsylvania. You know, we shouldn't stand for that stuff. Unless you have a legitimate reason, you should have to go on election day. Or I'm all for early voting too. I think if for the most part people have already decided who they're going to vote for, it rarely you're going to change your vote. I think maybe like 2 weeks. Early voting could be like 2 weeks before the election. um, which I lived in Texas. It was awesome. Early voting, like I said, most likely you're going to know who you're voting for. So early voting is great. If you're undecided, hey, you don't have to early vote. You could wait. If you're not really that sure who you're going to vote for, then hey, um, eliminate voter ID, election security. Now this is ridiculous. You need an ID to open a bank account. You need an ID to go get for plenty. If I'm gonna go get um my Claritin D, which you could hear I really need one in the worst way. Allergy season's coming up, and we're gonna need to you need to show your ID to show that. Any other, you need IDs, you need your ID for everything you're going to do in the country. So to say that you don't need I needed to buy uh Claritin D but I don't need it to vote is ridiculous. um Register millions of criminally present foreign citizens to vote by forcing states to automatically and duplicately register all people to vote through government outposts such as motor vehicles, state universities. Um, Look, listen, I'm for everybody registering to vote, but this whole thing of like automatic voter registrations, no. Look, listen, it's a right. You have a right to vote, but it's a privilege. It shouldn't be something that should be taken lightly. You should know why you're voting. You should know the issues. You shouldn't just be given a ballot and go, oh, well, if you're too lazy to figure out, who you want to vote for, or you're just apathetic. No, you shouldn't just be able to vote just because, oh, it's easy. I'm going to vote. No, voting, it's your civic duty. If you want to go and do it, participate. Don't this whole laziness of just, oh, we're going to send mail-in ballots. We're going to, you know, uh, make it easy to register. No, you know what? You want to register to vote. You go. There's plenty of. It's not hard. You go down to the DMV. You could do it online for younger people who know how to do stuff online. There's no excuse, but this whole automatic stuff, no. You should have to reach out to do it. It's your civic duty as a citizen to do it. It shouldn't be this whole uh just you could just automatically get it done. No, you go online, register to vote. It's not hard. um yeah, this whole thing of the DMV automatically doing it for you, when you're allowing um you know illegal aliens to get a driver's license. Who's to say that this is not gonna, you're not gonna muddy the water this way? Explode opportunities for election cheating. The fact that you have no, multiple mail-in. You're gonna have mail-in ballots, no IDs. All of this stuff leads to fraud, or at least the perception of fraud. Leaving these things in there is nothing about election security. It's election insecurity, and it's going to be election chaos because there is going to be there's going to be no trust in it. You're going to have half and half of trust. Cleaning up the rotor rolls. Like I said, I just moved, and I don't know if Texas cleaned up my. I don't know if Texas cleaned up my voter roll already. I don't know. That a ballot could have. I don't live there anymore. A ballot could have been sent. If you don't clean out the voter rolls, especially you doing these mail-in ballots, guess what? Uh, they see if you're going to do it automatically, they're going to go, "Hey, look, I live. I used to live in Texas. Oh well, we're going to send him a ballot to his Texas address, even though we don't know if he still lives there." And that's what happens. So you could just change addresses. Well, I mean, it's move states. It probably makes more sense than if you move. I would figure it'd still be easier if you move within state, for the state to update the voter roll. But you never know, and that's where if you combine all of these items together, it creates chaos for elections. If you can't clean up the voter roll, there's no election security. It's not voter suppression to clean up voter rolls. Unleash mobs on political donors. If passed, the bill would require that political speakers and nonprofit organizations publish the identities of their donors. Wow. This would create blacklists for, yeah, this is ridiculous. No, if you see right now what's going on, where let's say, for example, it came out that Gina Carano is a conservative, so Disney, because she publicly stated her views, she was canceled from Disney. Could you imagine? Well, okay, I'm going to donate, $1,000 to the Trump campaign. Oh, or to a PAC or something like that. Oh, now we could, ban this guy, ban that person. No, that's a very bad idea. Um, Gerrymandering districts. Look, listen, gerrymandering. I lived in a Republican state. I lived in a Democrat state. Both parties love gerrymandering. It doesn't matter which state you live in. Democrats are acting like, the only reason Democrats are complaining right now is because Republicans control the majority of the state legislatures in the country. I think it's about like 30 or 29 or something like that. So really, that's why the Democrats are complaining about it. But if you go and, like, anyone who lived in New York, um, there's no reason a district should encompass Manhattan and Brooklyn, other than you're gerrymandering it to get an outcome you desire. But you could just keep, I lived in the Lower East Side. We were Lower East Side, and Brooklyn was one of my districts. It was in my district. So no, you don't need that. You could just keep it in Manhattan, keep Brooklyn its own district, and there you go. But like I said, both parties like gerrymandering. Make vote hacking easier. The bill's mass force voter registration of every person with a record in various state databases comprises a recipe for massive voter registration fraud by hackers. And um, honestly, this is this one's nitpicking because it's something that, unless you're gonna make it hacker proof, which pretty hard to do, it doesn't matter whether you force everybody to or you don't. It's still the same thing. Um, hold on for 1 second. I don't know what's going on here. Let me just go back to my. Yeah, let's go back here. Um, there we go. There I go. Okay, let former felons vote before they've completed their sentences. Now, Require states, he goes, look, I'm for people who serve their time to go vote. So this one, the way they're wording it, I'm not sure, but once someone served their time, they've paid their debt to society, and once they come out, they should be able to vote. That's it. Um, that's how I feel. I don't think that's something that you should be taken away from you just because you committed a crime. If you served your time, you paid your dues, then you should be able to vote. Um, Same thing. If you haven't, I think that automatically, if you have a clean record going 10, 20 years after you've committed a crime, your record should be expunged. It should be expunged. There's no reason you should have to carry it after um, you've proven that you're a valued member of society again. HR1 would help 16 and 17-year-olds vote illegally. Here it goes. HR would also require states to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to register when combined with a ban on voter ID, restrictions on the ability to challenge the eligibility of a voter. No, this, I understand what they're implying, and I will just go like this. No, a 16 to 17-year-old should not be allowed to register to vote. No, period. Dumb idea. That's not, if you're not allowed, if you're not old enough to vote, then no. You need to, I remember, you, once you turn 18, you go and you register to vote. It's not hard. It's not hard. Most of the stuff, someone turning 18 nowadays can go online and register to vote. It's not hard. Um, Bans keeping the records necessary for an election audit or recount, which is ridiculous. Um, you need to have paper ballots. You need to have paper trail of the votes. This whole everything electronic. I'm fine with everything being electronic, but even like now, I think that when you go to vote, you could do it electronically. It should print you out a receipt like an ATM, plain and simple. You should be able to have that paper receipt. I'm just for that, just because it's ridiculous that you can't see who you for sure voted for. This whole thing, mandate drop boxes. Oh no. This whole thing about ballot harvesting, ridiculous. No, you shouldn't be able to go into a nursing home and collect a bunch of ballots from these nursing home patients or retirement communities and all that stuff. People want to go vote, let them go vote. But this whole thing of people gathering ballots, no, that's nonsense. Giving U.S. territories extra Democrat seats in Congress. Look, I'm for, if these states want to become, if these territories want to become states. Hey, I'm Puerto Rican. Obviously, right here, that's why this part of the right Rican comes from. Is the reason why I'm saying that. No, this is, if they want to become a state, then let them go through the process of becoming the state. But Puerto Rico, I will say, like from experience, from reading the history, Puerto Rico just always has three factions. It's gone on even before Puerto Rico was part of the U.S., where you have part of the country that wants to be independent, part of the country that wants to be things to stay the way they are, and part of the country that wants to become part of whatever country. So, before the U.S. took over in 1898, you had people that wanted to be part of Spain, and currently now you want people that want to be part of the United States. It is, sometimes the more things change, the more things stay the same. And that's the way it is with Puerto Rico. And he's here talking about some of these territories getting senators and electoral college seats and house. No, unless they become states. No, especially to get a senator. No, I could see maybe getting instead of having a non-voting representative. I don't have a problem with them getting one house seat until they become states, and then you could directly proportion their population. But they should at least have one even voting, because right now they have a non-voting. They have a non-voting delegation in the House. They should have at least one person voting. But like I said, I'm not agreeing with everything and not disagreeing with everything. I'm agreeing with most of it, and This whole bill has nothing to do about election viability or protecting the vote. It's all about power. That's what it boils down to. It's about seizing power while they can. Um, at the end of the day, that's something that we need to all need to be aware of. It's not, we're citizens. Like I said, it's our responsibility to go vote. It's our responsibility to um, be up to date on the issues. You shouldn't be scared into voting for people. That's basically what happened this year. 80 million people were scared to vote, were scared into voting against Trump. Granted, I'm being kind of facetious with that, but I understand. Yeah, there are probably people who did vote for the Democrats and Biden, but in truth, mainly against Trump. uh, the majority of that, but we'll see 2024. That's neither here or there. So I thought this was an important article to go over because we're going to see it's going to go to the House, and we'll see what happens in the House. I think it's probably DOA. I don't. I don't even see, this passing. I don't see Cinema of Arizona or Mansion of West Virginia voting for this. I don't see either one of them voting for this. So that they need to get to 60 votes anyway. And that's not going to happen. So if you like my video, like I said, this important video to make. So it's a one article, but it's something that's a really good read. I'll post a link in my description if anyone wants to actually read the whole article. With that being said, if you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel, and have a good one.